I know Maggie frightens many of them, for she is outspoken and headstrong. But surely the lure of the Asher Nambreg will tempt them to overlook these faults. She's nae as bad as she pretends, Father David said. Your household runs smoothly because of her. She knows how to direct the servants and care for the sick. She's nae fearful of hard work. I've seen her myself in your fields, and working with the women salting meat for the winter and making jams. She'd rather hunt the meat than prepare it, the laird said with a chuckle. Aye, brother, she would, the priest agreed. But she can do what a woman with a large household needs to do. She will make the right lad a fine wife. But I don't believe you'll find that lad among the borders, Dugald. I must begin my search somewhere, the Laird of Bray Asher said. Chapter 1. The hall is full, I suppose, Maggie Kerr said to her tiring woman, Griselle. Aye, came the tart reply. All come to stuff themselves and get drunk at your grandfather's board, Griselle snorted. Armstrongs and Elliots, Bruces and Fergusons, Scots and Bairds, who were forever telling the story of how their ancestor saved the life of King William the Lion and thus gained their lands. There are a few Lindsays and Hays, too, and nae one of them fit to wipe the mud from your boot, my darling lass. Maybe I'll nae join them, Maggie said. I dislike being presented as grandsire's prize mare. She reached for the cake of scented soap on the rim of her tall oak bathing tub and rubbed it slowly over her arm. I don't want to marry, and I am more than capable of holding the Asher Nambreg myself without interference from a stranger calling himself my lord and master. Jesu, why wasn't I born a lad? Because ye were born a lass, Griselle said matter-of-factly. Now finish your bath. You have to get down to the hall sooner than later. I'll nae let you shame your grandsire, my dearie. Nor would ye do it. You know your duty better than any. Then Griselle went and laid out the burgundy velvet gown that Maggie would wear that evening. It was high-waisted and had a low-scooped neckline that revealed most of her shoulders. The tight-fitting sleeves and the hem of the gown were trimmed in dark marten. The servant set out a pair of round-toed sollarettes, covered in the same velvet as the gown, and burgundy silk stockings with matching garters. As Maggie stepped out of her tub, Griselle hurried to wrap her in a warmed towel. Sit down and let me prepare you. Then we'll put on your chemise, and you can choose the jewels you would wear. You should show to your best advantage, my dearie. God's balls! Maggie swore. Ye too, Griselle. I don't care if one of those fools asks for my hand or not. I don't want a husband, and I shall make it very difficult for any man to please me enough to win my favour. She pulled on her soft linen chemise. Smiling to herself, Griselle gently pushed the girl down on a stool and began to brush out her hair while Maggie dried her feet. You're a care, she said, as she plied the boar bristles through Maggie's thick chestnut-coloured tresses. Ye'll do what ye must for the good of the family. Maggie snorted at her tiring woman's words. Griselle was like a mother to her, as her own mother had perished giving birth to her, and her father had died in a border clash 6 months before she was born. Griselle had lost her husband in that same fray, and her own infant son about the time Maggie entered the world. Grandsire had brought the 19-year-old widow up from the village to wet-nurse his new granddaughter. She had been born strong, Dugald Kerr said. There had been no doubt she would survive. And when she no longer needed nourishment from Griselle's teat, the wet-nurse had remained to raise the child for the Laird of Bray Asher. Maggie loved Griselle dearly, and she hated to disappoint her. She would go into her grandsire's hall the coming evening and be shown to prospective buyers as if a blood mare at a horse fair. But she would wed no man who could not gain her respect.